both of them.
Just test it out top of the phone.
Hello, hello, hello. I think they can hear me. Is that a good thing? All right, well, we're going to continue to kind of let people load into all of our streams here that we have going on right now. We're all the way up on Facebook. We are all the way on YouTube right now, and we'll get some push notifications out there right now. What we're going to do here, at least this morning and probably every day this week, is we're going to take a deeper look into what we're expecting travel-wise. As we know, this is one of the busiest travel weeks here of the year, and that is obviously something that I'm going to sit down. Maybe that's probably going to be a little bit better for us here, as we got lots of graphics, lots of computers, and I want to get all this kind of set up so I can try to answer your questions to the best that we can. So, all right, here's what we're looking at here, at least for today. You kind of know this has been pretty straightforward, but I'm going to pull the stream up on my phone. That way I can start answering a lot of your guys' questions here. It's Monday morning. Feels like a Monday. It's gray. It's kind of gross out there. We've had that dense fog advisory that's pretty much been in effect all morning long and will continue to be so until we get into the midday hour. So I'm just kind of pulling this up and seeing if we can get those kind of all settled in. So, let's see here. No comments yet. We got 28 viewers. So if you have any questions, please just throw them into the comment section there on Facebook Live. I'll do my best to answer as many of these as I can. And we'll start going into a little more on not just what we're expecting here today, but obviously this week, as we kind of have a little bit of everything. It's really foggy right now. It's actually very warm. A lot of our temperatures are sitting in the 40s and 50s. But as you kind of see this weather pattern shift on Wednesday, we're going to set our stage for the potential of the first impactful snow of the season. Remember, we had some snow here a couple weeks ago, but it didn't really stick to area roads. I don't foresee that being the case here this time. So we're kind of getting out well ahead of this with an early first alert here for both Saturday and Sunday. And here's what we know. Cold air is going to be in place, which means any system that does move into our area is going to have the possibility to produce some snow, and snow that would stick to area roads. Now, the reason that this is important is that this is one of the busiest travel weekends of the year. So that's why we're kind of getting out and ahead of this, saying, hey, you might have to maybe take some extra time if you're traveling on roads, or maybe we could anticipate some travel delays if maybe you're flying to and from any given location. So we're kind of just erring on the side of caution. This isn't going to be the biggest winter storm you've ever seen or anything like that, but every year when we get our first snows, we always tend to have a lot of accidents on our roads. So this would be the first real snow where we kind of have to really kind of take things a little bit slower and taking that all into account. So again, this is why we got this early first alert out for the weekend. Here's just a check of those long-range models right now. Both are suggesting snow impacting the Midwest. You can kind of see here that model number 2, a little more aggressive with the amount of snow. This is Saturday at noon across the entire area. Model number 1 just shows a light snowfall event playing out. So what we're kind of trying to get at here is that for most of us, this is something that is going to be our first snow, but it's not potentially going to be any wallop or anything like that. But I do think it could be enough to maybe warrant some winter weather advisories or something like that. So it's been pretty consistent here with model runs. Give or take, a little bit of track, but this is still, 5 and 6 days away. There's a lot of things that can change. The timing of the system could change. The track of the system could change. The amount of moisture associated with this system could certainly change as well. So the bottom line, what we know is with the cold air in place, we're probably going to see at least the first snow of the season, if not here, somewhere in the Midwest. That's going to disrupt travel here as we get into your holiday weekend. So let's go back here to some of the travel as you kind of just take a look at right now. I'm not seeing any delays here at the Moline Airport. This is a graphic that we're probably going to be using quite a bit here this week as the active weather could maybe start to impact some of the air travel. Now, I'm only looking at places that Moline flies directly to here. You can kind of see down in Dallas-Fort Worth, they have some scattered storms today. So if you have one of those afternoon flights here to Dallas, you might encounter some delays here this morning. Fort Myers looks nice though, 86 and sunny, but just over the next 12 hours, you can kind of see if you're traveling south out of the Quad Cities, this is where you might see some disruptions. Otherwise, it's not too shabby, I guess, unless you're heading up to Big Sky Country and getting out into the Montana area. So that's one thing that we're going to be watching for later this week. That kind of takes care of that first alert day, but here's what it's been looking like right now. If you were joining us here from Quad Cities today, we were talking about this dense fog advisory and how the fog was developing to our south and just gradually moving towards the area. Well, it's here now. it's going to be really tough to get rid of, and I don't expect us to see much in the way of sunshine. I can see sky view. Obviously, that's on top of our building, so a little bit closer to where that thick fog is. But you can see the flag here kind of flying in the wind as you get down into Bettendorf. What this is telling us is those winds are all coming in from the south, so this is going to help keep our temperatures warm. I think we're going to get into the low 50s here later today, but there's just a check of the visibility right now. It's almost zero across the entire area, so this is obviously something that could maybe slow up some travel plans here today, but because we're warm, I'm not concerned about that slippery travel or anything like that. So let's just take a look at the exact track here for today. We're going to have some more scattered showers this afternoon and into the evening. This is not a big rainmaker. We're talking a tenth of an inch of rain or less. And then Tuesday is kind of our last day with really warm temperatures. Look at this as you get into Tuesday afternoon. Widespread highs in the 50s. But what I want to point out is you kind of look back towards Iowa Falls and Waterloo. We're starting to get these west and northwest winds. These are going to eventually kind of pick up as we get into, say, Friday evening. I'm stopping this at around 8 o'clock in the evening. This is something that is going to start to kind of bring the cooler air in place. Now, I know we have some things going on here on Tuesday. Specifically, the holiday train is making its way through our area. The forecast right now does call for the chance of a couple of showers as that front comes through, and it's likely coming through around the time it's either in Davenport or in Muscatine. So look for wind chills to become more of a factor here the later in the night. I believe the Davenport time somewhere 6 or 6:30. I think it's to Muscatine maybe around 7:30 here on Tuesday evening. So if you have plans for that, make sure you're dressed in layers. It might feel warm maybe if you're lining up for it and getting ready for Smash Mouth, but I think by the time some of this wraps up, it's going to be quite chilly here getting into Tuesday night. Now, it's Tuesday night into Wednesday that the colder air kind of settles in. Waking up here on our Wednesday morning, we're down to freezing. The average lows are in the 20s, but it's the wind. We're talking gusts up to 30 and 40 miles per hour. We're probably going to have some scattered flurries here heading into very early Wednesday morning as well. And afternoon highs are only getting into the mid-30s. So this is that start of what's a very cold stretch of weather that not only continues here for Thanksgiving Day, but also as you get into the weekend. So just as you look at the turkey trot, I believe they have the dog parade, they said, at around 7 o'clock there in the morning. But as you get throughout much of Thursday morning, I don't think you're going to feel much warmer than the teens, and northwest winds will continue to be breezy there well into your Thanksgiving Day. So as you take a look, there's that early first alert out for Saturday and Sunday. Now notice I only talked about what was that storm system on Saturday. There's potentially another system Sunday into Monday. Signs are pointing towards some warmer air in the mid-levels of the atmosphere, maybe leading it back to mainly a rainfall event, even though you're in the upper 30s for afternoon highs. So there's a lot going on here as we get into post-Thanksgiving time frame. This is something that, again, is why we're paying attention to it and why we're giving you the early first alerts. If things become a little bit clearer here, obviously we'll be able to upgrade this and maybe you'll see some winter weather headlines being issued. But at least at this time, that's kind of where we're standing at this far out. It's too really far out to get into any sort of specifics with this, which is probably coming as no surprise to anyone here. But you'll probably start seeing some snowfall forecast here from TV6, maybe as early as Thursday evening and into Friday. So if you have post-Thanksgiving travel plans, I want you to keep the First Alert weather app handy, as we're going to continue to update that several times a day, specifically looking forward here to this weekend. So I'm going to hop into the comments here, see what everybody's got going on, and we'll try our best to maybe get everybody on there answered. So it looks like nobody wants to talk. That's cool. Shoot me any sort of question, and we got time to kill here. It's 8:34 on our Monday morning. This is certainly an early first alert as you get into 5 days in advance. Again, this is something where we know we have the cold air in place. So that means the systems that roll through the Midwest here this weekend could potentially produce the first impactful snow. Now notice I said Midwest. If the track of the system changes and goes more south or more north, there's the potential we miss out on snow completely, but it doesn't mean travel is not going to be disrupted here across the Midwest. We, again, have seen this in the past. On our first snows of every single year, whether it's 1 or 2 inches, it's enough to kind of remind everybody that, hey, we got to slow down. These roads can become slippery in a hurry, and we tend to have a lot of accidents. So again, while I don't think this looks to be the biggest snowmaker for us ever, it just happens to hit at a high travel time, which is post-Thanksgiving weekend, which again, as we know, is one of the busiest travel weekends of the year. So we've gone ahead and got out there with that early first alert. So Diane, John Lane, thank you for joining on Thanksgiving traveling Dubuque. Any issues? I don't think you're going to have any issues on Thanksgiving Day itself, aside from it being cold, Diane. But if you are traveling, say, on Saturday or Sunday, I think specifically Saturday, I think it looks like that snow or wintry system is going to be moving from west to east. So if you have travel plans, say heading west towards Des Moines or even Omaha, Saturday wouldn't be a fun day to travel, especially if you're traveling even from Omaha, maybe back here. Depending on your timing, you could just be driving along with the storm, so it might be smarter to get kind of ahead of that. Nancy, how about Mount Pleasant? It's pretty much everywhere in the viewing area is going to have this chance for that potential winter storm system to impact our area. Again, we have this strong front. This is area-wide late tomorrow night. That is going to totally flip our weather pattern. We've been very warm here through November. We're going right into winter here with this. Highs are only in the 30s for Thanksgiving Day. Wind chills are going to be in the teens, and that's continuing for Black Friday, and that is continuing for this weekend. And this active weather pattern continues into next week. There's still some questions as to when we'll kind of warm things back up. Terry, way too early for us to be any specific about snowfall amounts. Really only focusing on impacts at this point. Once roads get slippery, it doesn't matter if you have a foot of snow or an inch of snow. I'm just thinking more on the lines of, hey, we have a lot of people traveling this weekend, and we want to make sure that we get ahead of that, or make sure that you guys have the resources necessary to tell what road conditions are and all that before you make the decision to whether you want to travel or not. Of course, I can't make those decisions for you, but I can only make those suggestions here from TV6. But this is just, again, it's going to be potentially the first accumulating snow of the season where it has an impact on area roads. We had snow a couple weeks ago. It was only on grassy surfaces. There was no real slippery conditions, right? Well, I think this is a different case because the cold air that comes Wednesday to Thursday and Friday should be enough to kind of cool all of our area roads. So I think that's why I'm more concerned that, hey, we could probably have some snow sticking to those streets or at least those overpasses. And again, if it's not here, it could be in western Iowa. And again, for folks that are traveling in that direction, that is something that they need to be aware of. So will Sunday be okay to travel? Looks like Mikey Hart, that's still a very good question. There is another system behind the one on Saturday, but that one also we're having timing issues, meaning is it going to arrive during the afternoon, the morning, or maybe it holds off until Monday of next week. So we're trying to take it one at a time. But if I was looking at it right now, I would say Sunday, probably a better travel day than Saturday, just based on what we are looking at right now. Obviously, this isn't an exact science. This is going to change. And the better information that we get, the better we're able to put out a forecast. So that's why these things are going to change here this week. We're fully transparent about that. And if things are looking for the better, we'll obviously drop the first alert days here for you. But that's what we're looking at here right now. There's that potential for some travel issues here, especially on Saturday. If you are maybe doing some outdoor decorating, or maybe you want to go get a tree, Friday's probably the better of those days, unless you really want to be, I guess, festive in the winter wonderland. But it's also going to be cold on Friday. The turkey trot, we talked about that there on Thanksgiving Day. Wind chills are going to be in the teens. It's just really, we are flipping the switch here straight from fall right into winter in a hurry. All this happens here Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, and Wednesday is going to be quite windy, so if there's any leaves left on those trees, those are all going to be stripped. So hopefully we've kind of picked most of those up and gotten rid of those. Let's see, any more comments on here? Terry, what are we looking at for amounts? I already addressed that question. Why is this not going? Maybe I have the wrong, there we go. What's going on, Michael? Thanks for joining us here. How about driving towards Chicago? Carmen Mendoza, if you are doing that, I'd probably, at least right now, either do it on Friday night or get out very early Saturday morning to make that travel. Or better yet, maybe you can take the train as well if you want to head out of Galesburg or even Princeton. That might not be too bad, so you don't have to drive as far. It's free parking, I think, out of the Princeton one. We have a wrestling meet in Bloomington Saturday, so hopefully it'll be okay. Yeah, Terry, right now, depending on the track, it looks like it might be mainly north of the Bloomington area, but as you're coming home, you might encounter some of those slippier roads. Let's go here. Go Pack Go. Oh yeah, I guess they did win yesterday, didn't they? Were they playing the Vikings? Yeah, J.J. McCarthy didn't look too good here. I think they may have made a mistake on that. Uh-oh, looks like I may have ended the Facebook Live. How about that? That's fun. Well, we're still streaming here on YouTube. Let's see. Hello, Quad Cities. James Hayes, thanks for joining us. I'm traveling St. Louis for the holiday. Do you think that's a good idea? I always think it's a great idea to travel to St. Louis, Jeffrey. Probably if you're coming home on Sunday, you're probably going to be okay. And if you're traveling on Thanksgiving Day or Friday, that's fantastic. It's just Saturday right now is kind of the day that we're watching, and that's potentially not here. St. Louis might even get some snow depending on the track of the system, which again, we certainly are not set in stone with that. So I'm gonna see if, looks like we pulled that off there on accident. Oh well, but we'll end this stream here. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll get back on here afterwards and try to answer them the best that I can. And for that, we'll end our lives here, and we'll take you all back to your regularly scheduled program if we can look at some other video sources. And then we'll cut the mics here, and I will see you all around this time again tomorrow morning and every single day this week.